This is a video for help on comparing greatest common factor and least common multiple. On this side of the handout, I want you to actually use greatest common factor or find greatest common factor and least common multiple. But on this side, you have to think more deeply about greatest common factor and least common multiple, with the goal of getting two well-written paragraphs, one about similarities and one about differences between GCF and LCM. So in class, we talked about that for both of these, you start with prime factorization. So that is one that's given to you. You'll need one more similarity and then a difference and a second difference between greatest common factor and least common multiple. So what I will do is walk you through some of these two, and I think you'll see some of the similarities and differences. So I'm going to start with prime factorization, just like I said I would. So let's see, 24, I'll divide that into 4 times 6, because 4 times 6 equals 24. Neither of those are prime numbers, so 2 times 2 is 4. Those are prime numbers. And 2 times 3 equals 6. So my prime factorization of 24 is 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. 56 can be divided, I can't really think of what it can be divided by right now, so I'll just divide it by a prime number, 2. So 2 goes into 56. Let's see, 28 times 2 is 56. So that's a prime number. And I know I can divide 28 into 4 and 7. 4 times 7 is 28. 7 is a prime number. And 4 becomes 2 times 2. So the prime factorization of 56 is 2 times 2 times 2 times 7. So far, I've just found the prime factorization. That's a similarity. I do it for both of these. I'm not going to do it again because it would just be a waste of my time. Now, to find the greatest common factor, I need to match up the factors that appear in both lists. So I've got a 2 and a 2 and a 2. 3 and 7, they don't match up with anything. So my greatest common factor, I take these and multiply them. 2 times 2 times 2, and I get 8. My greatest common factor is 8. It is smaller than both numbers. Notice it is smaller. I had to multiply numbers together, had to multiply factors together, but I came up with a smaller answer. Now, least common multiple, I can use the prime factors again, but this time I'm going to write them in exponent form. I don't really have to, but I think it makes it easier. 2 to the third times 3 and 2 to the third times 7. In this one, I have to use every factor. I have to use 2, I have to use 3, and I have to use 7. In greatest common factor, I didn't use all the factors. I only used factors that were shared. But in least common multiple, I have to use all factors. And I take the greatest power of every factor. So I've got 2 on both lists, and in both lists, it's 2 to the power of 3, so I can pick either one. So I'll take 2 to the power of 3, and then 3 to the power of 1 and 7 to the power of 1. I have to use both factors. So times 3 and times 7. So again, I'm multiplying them together, just like I did here. 2 to the third is 8 times 3 times 7. So 8 times 21 is 168. Notice the answer is larger than both of the original numbers. Notice that I did have to multiply factors together, but I had to use all factors. And in this case, greatest common factor, I only used factors they share. Now, I've given you plenty of just going through that, I've given you plenty of similarities and differences. So hopefully that helps you write a wonderful paper that gets you a good grade.